Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis. In the studio, I have my lovely hostess, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Miss Daphne Lynn. How are you? And welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm well, and how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, we got a exciting show today. One of my favorite subjects about near-death experiences is the actual life review. Mm-hmm. So that's always fun to talk about. So today it's going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. However, we've done episodes like this in the past. We're pretty much just going to share different people's
life review
their
experience.
reviews. Yeah, they're to share their life review. We actually got all these from the actual NDERF and the IANS website. So if you get a chance to go over there, that's NDERF, the letter NDERF.com, I believe it is.
NDERF.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other one's IANS, or IANS, IANDS.com, I believe. So, so that's where these came from. If you want to go out there and check it out yourself, but that's what we do. We just kind of grab some different things from different places like that. And today we're just going to actually just share those with the listeners. So.
Yes, and I love the life review because it breaks down what you've done in your life, the effect that you've had on others, and that can help you to change your life.
It's called the life review, not the life destruction or the life everlasting torment or the life burning forever. And it's life,
a life in
review.
Bliss. Right.
A review sounds a lot different. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. And those who are returning, welcome back. And don't forget to go to the website, NDE.world. That is
NDE.world. And we love and appreciate you, every one of you.
Yes. So the website is actually what I was going to share with you, where we got more information on our podcast and all the episodes and things like that. And this happens to be episode number 96, Daphne, that we're actually doing right now. So, so don't forget, go to the website for more information and things like that. But let's go ahead and jump right into today's topic, and that is the life review. And what this is, it's just actual experiences shared by these near-death experiencers.
Yes.
So, well, would you like to take the first one there, Miss Daphne, and just kind of read it, and we'll just kind of, see what we can get from it.
Put our 2 cents in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It says, I wish that I could tell you how it really felt and what the life review is like, but I'll never be able to do it accurately. I'm hoping to give you just a slight inkling of what is available to each and every one of you. Will you be totally devastated by what you've brought into other people's lives? Or will you be equally enlightened and lifted up by the love and joy that you have shared in other people's lives? Well, guess what? It pretty much averages itself out. You will be responsible for yourself, judging and reliving what you have done to everything and everybody in very far-reaching ways. Very small, seemingly inconsequential things, such as the day when I was 9 years old, walked through Seneca Park and loved the appearance of a tree. In my life review, I could experience a bit of what the tree experienced in my loving it. 2 little photons of love and adoration. It was somewhat like the leaves acknowledging my presence. Can a tree experience that? Yes, it can. Don't go kicking trees anymore. You do have an effect on plants. You do have an effect on animals. You do have an effect on the universe. And in your life review, you'll be the universe and experience yourself in what you call your lifetime and how it affects the universe.
Okay, wow, there's quite a few things in there, Daphne, quite a few things. Wow. Well, let's just kind of back up. We'll start from the top there. There's quite a few things that catches my attention here. As always, like these people who have these experiences, they always say you really just can't put it in words.
That was my thought too, yeah, because we're limited with our vocabulary in this realm because I mean, just hearing from all these different experiences, it's very, very limited. And hard to put into words. Even that unconditional love that is spoken of is hard to describe.
Yeah. So just kind of describe it, in human terms, but like it says, the good and the bad that you did, it just kind of pretty much just kind of balances out, I guess, in the end. But I'm sure there are people who have done a lot more constructive than destructive. I guess that would be, maybe a more accurate word instead of good and bad. So what's good to somebody may not be good to somebody else, but something that's constructive,
Your
you can
definition.
see if it's helping somebody, if it's helping the greater good, the whole, and it's constructive, it's coming from a greater source. Whereas if it's something that's destructive for humanity or even a person, then it's not coming from a good source.
Right. I like the fact that this person brings out that you will be responsible for yourself, judging and reliving what you've done to everything and everybody in far-reaching ways. And that's what we have to realize. We are responsible, not an external source, for what we do.
Right.
Not for our outcome, but we ourselves are responsible.
Absolutely. And then, like we always say, and you say it so much, it's not just about our relationships with each other and humans and fellow humans, but like this person brings out, you have nature, you've got the trees, you've got the animals, you've got the insects, you've got the leaves, you've got the grass, you've got everything that is affected by who we are and what we do and what we put out. Never underestimate that, because most people don't even think about that. Most people don't have a problem killing animals, or maybe trees and maybe trees and grass and stuff more than animals, because there are a lot of people who do have a heart for animals, but there are a lot of them out there who don't.
Right.
So that's going to come back in a life review. How you've treated these little animals, even insects and things like that. I'm sure you're not aware of what you might step on throughout the day and kill or whatever, but we always say that intention has a lot to do with things as well. What is your intention behind the things that you do? Are they constructive or destructive? Something to think about.
Right. And I love the way that this person actually brought out that you do have an effect on all these different things. And then in the life review, you'll be the universe and experience yourself in what you call this lifetime and how it affects the universe. And it just really brings us back to the oneness of everything and everyone, and that connecting to source energy, because everything is energy.
All is one.
That's right.
I like that. Well said. Very good. Well, that pretty much covers that. Anything else?
No.
Let me go and catch the next one here. It says that in your life review, you'll be yourself absolutely in every aspect of time, in every event, in the overall scheme of things in your lifetime. Your life. The little bugs on your eyelids that some of you don't even know exist, that's an interrelationship. You with yourself and these little entities that are living and surviving on your eyelids. When you waved a loving goodbye to a good friend, did you affect the clouds up above? Did you actually affect them? Does a butterfly's wings in China affect the weather here? You better believe it does.
We are clueless. We are clueless to what is really out there to experience and to be one with. And we just really have to just believe in that and just connect with everything and everyone.
Yeah. Get your thinking.
It really does. And I really love this. Because I like the way this person brought out too. When you wave goodbye to a friend, did it affect the clouds above you? The butterfly's wings in China affecting the weather? And this person says, you better believe it does. Everything is connected.
And to go with that thought, I like how you said that. The one good deed you did to a person could affect them so much and set them on fire that they just turned around and went and did 1,000 good deeds and really started. You just don't know the effect you'll have on another person. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, just be constructive. be that one.
Yes, exactly. I love this comment, as if you couldn't tell, but
Yeah.
yes, I mean, I really do. You get to be yourself in every aspect of the form, in every event, and in the overall scheme of all things in your lifetime.
Yeah. Really just ties back into that one, but
Yes.
really the life review really is for re-experiencing we say here on this episode a lot, the seeds that you planted. You're reaping what you sow. We also refer to the life review as heaven and hell. Also, we refer to the life review as karma. Mm-hmm. We refer to it also as judgment. All these concepts that man has, even mixed in with all their religions and things like that, is really the life review. Okay, and what does that mean? Well, what that means is during the life review, okay, you're going to be plugged into the matrix, so to say, metaphorically speaking, or however you want to say that.
Plugged into source.
Yeah, you're going to be surrounded by however it's going to be presented to you, some kind of way, but by your experiences, all all the different things that you experience while you're here on Earth, good and the bad and the ugly, Mm-hmm. And but not only are you going to re-experience all of these experiences, but you're going to also experience them from those other people's experiences, and how, say, for example, not just from their perspective, but maybe even from their family's perspective, how did you affect a person in a negative way, and that the pain that it might have caused that family, and that rippled on and on and on. You just don't know. Well, guess what? You get to experience that because it is a domino effect, so.
Oh yeah, it really is the ripple.
Yeah, and also all the good as well, so, it all comes out, and you're going to feel that, and you're going to feel what everybody felt, and that's going to balance you out, and, is it going to hurt? Well, it depends on how much pain you put out.
Right.
How much, here's a way to look at it, metaphorically speaking. How much heaven did you put out while you were here on Earth? Well, you get that heaven back when you go back. You cash in.
Yeah.
That's reaping what you sow. That's your karma. How much hell did you put out while you were here? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? When you get back, you have to re-experience that. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hell for you. There's your heaven and hell. Right. Okay?
It's all in the mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you create.
It goes back with even like with the karma as well.
Yes.
It's you have to reap what you sow. It's balancing things out.
Cause and effect.
Yes, exactly. The law of cause and effect. Well said. Well said. Well, very good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one there, Daphne.
Okay, you can learn all of that in a life review. As this takes place, you have total knowledge. You have the ability to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a psychoanalyst.
All in one, huh? Now think about that. You're going to play all of those roles when you're sitting here.
We all get to be psycho.
That. Daphne, you're already psycho. That doesn't count. We're talking about in the life review.
I'm sorry.
That's why you're laughing.
This is just hit me.
Do what?
Because you're all the time telling me that's your psycho thing kicking in, and this just kicked it off. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, maybe let me do it like in your life review. Let's see, Daphne, you'll have the ability to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a psychoanalyst, and much more. So.
Yes, most definitely.
No, but all jokes aside, go ahead.
Yes, all jokes aside.
I can see where that would kind of definitely
kick me off.
That's
okay,
okay.
So
it's
sorry.
all good. No,
so I hope y'all enjoyed that.
So everybody gets to play the
me.
role. In other words, when you're here,
right? Yes.
and experiencing this, it's not going to be. And also remember how we understand the ego is not going to be there as well.
Right.
You're judging it from pure love, from pure consciousness. How so that's going to be your filter.
Okay.
All right, try it again. Let's go round 2, psychoanalyst. Daphne.
Okay. All jokes aside.
Round 2.
You have the ability to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a psychoanalyst, and much more. You are your own spiritual teacher, maybe for the first and only time in your life. You are simultaneously the student and the teacher in a relationship. My life review was part of this experience also. It was absolutely, positively everything, basically from the first breath of life right through the accident. It was everything. During this life review, I experienced what I can only describe as in the eyes of God, meaning I watched and observed this entire event as if I were in the eyes of God, which means unconditionally.
Okay, very good. Thank you. A lot of good points in here. Actually, like it says, you can learn a lot from a life review. Okay,
Yes.
and in the life review, it's more of the knowing. That's that it taps in your all knowing. It's that all knowledge. It's going to be all loving, no ego. It's going to be all unconditional.
Right.
Like like we also see a lot of times when people say, not only do you experience from your experience, but you also experience from that other person's, the way they felt during this experience, but you also feel it the way God experiences it. But we all are God. So technically what it means is you're technically tuned back in, or you're back into that source, or you're going to be feeling it from that perspective. So you're actually even seeing it. So I think they're kind of like, is that kind of like what they're saying here here at the end, that it says what I can only describe as, experienced it in the eyes of God, or would that mean maybe through the eyes of God, what they're trying to say?
In the eyes of God.
Or in the eyes of God.
Yeah, which means unconditionally.
Yeah.
And, I also like the way that this person brought it out, because we hear this a lot, and it was absolutely, positively everything from that first breath of life right through to the time of that person's departure. Yeah. So, yeah, it's everything, and you get to experience it all over again.
I wish I'd have known this when I was a child and was raised this way with this kind of understanding and knowing.
Oh, gosh. Imagine where we'd be.
I'd have been so much sweeter, so much nicer. I wouldn't say I was, bad or anything in that regard, but we all do stupid stuff in our lives, that you regret when you get older. But I wish I'd have known this, because this really is eye-opening. And that's why we're sharing it with everybody, because people can take this now, start applying it in their lives, and start teaching their children. And their children can start, changing the way their minds work, and start, changing the world and shaping it and helping others as well.
Mm-hmm. I like, too, that it says that you are the student and the teacher. So you're getting both perspectives on it.
Think about that. Yeah. I've heard that expression before. You're both student and teacher at the same time. That is a good way to look at it. Think about that. And of course, these other little titles, these human titles that the psychiatrist and the psychologist and the psychoanalyst and all these kind of things, but the point is that you're going to be totally aware of what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be 1,000% tuned in. There's no getting from it. And since you're all one, guess what? You get to feel everything from everyone.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So.
And there's beauty in that, because you get to see how you affected the others' lives.
There is, absolutely. Very good, very good. Well, let's go ahead and move right on along here. This one says that Howard's entire life review was a lesson during which they were trying to teach him. During some events, they slowed the review down to zoom in on it. All of the things that he worked to achieve, the recognition that he had worked for in elementary school and high school and college and in his career, meant nothing in this setting. Mm-hmm. Howard could feel the light being's feelings of sorrow and suffering, or joy, as his life's review unfolded. They didn't judge him, but he could feel judgment. He could sense all those things they were indifferent to. For example, they didn't consider his high school shot put record. They just didn't feel anything towards it, nor towards other things which he had taken so much pride in. What they responded to was how he had interacted with other people. His entire review would have been emotionally destructive if it hadn't been for the love he felt from the light beings. anytime he got upset during his life review, they would turn it off for a while and just love him with a tangible love that can be felt through his entire being. Because his life review would keep tearing him down, he would feel their love every time. Despite all of this, seeing his selfishness and hypocrisy made him nauseated. But through it all was their love. When his life review was finally over, they asked Howard if he had any questions. Sometimes they would replay the part of his life review in order to answer his questions. Comments?
Yes, of course. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot in that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it just really reminds me of how accommodating that sources, that the beings, the entities from the other side are when we go to feeling overwhelmed. If we feel nauseated or faint, they pour the love in. And we've heard that so many times. When you can't take anymore, they accommodate you. Let's build you back up.
Yeah.
Because there's no negativity on the other side.
And
it has to be positive, and they that's why they pour the love in.
I like how it says, to go with that thought there, how they said they even stopped it.
Yes.
You know, it's not like, okay, hey, listen here, watch what you did. You see,
you got to continue on, yeah.
No, it's not, hey, it's okay. It's okay. You know, come on here. You know, give them some more loving. It's okay. Yeah. You know. And when they know that person is ready for more, they would just turn it right back on, you know. So, yeah, that's what it's about. It's about working together. You're all one working in this together. It's not that chastisement, that judgmental cursing, you know, just sending you off for being punished forever and ever and tormented. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't
make sense to me anymore either. It really doesn't, no.
You know, people do things, but that person's going to have to deal with it. That's them, their thing, their walk, their thing, their life review.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that this person brought out that those light beings did not judge him, but he could feel a sense of judgment. And that's his own judgments about what he done in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how he brings out the materialistic guys. This is a tip for all of you out there, all of us. You know, his materialistic endeavors meant nothing. Your materialistic endeavors mean nothing, guys.
Your diplomas and everything.
Your diplomas, your goals, all of your everything. It doesn't mean nothing in the big picture.
Right. It's about how we interact with each other.
How did you treat others?
Yeah.
What kind of love did you put out?
Yes, exactly.
That's it. So, that's a really good little tip right there, I think.
And we hear this so many times. That they're just indifferent to the majority of the things that we've done in our life. What they focus on is our interactions with life.
Yeah, what's
not
real.
with what we've accomplished and
Ego.
Got degrees in or whatever. It is how we respect life.
Yeah. Not what the ego created. Think about that. Everything that the ego has created, the ego is the separate. Remember, that's what's
exactly.
It's broken away from the one. Well, guess what? It gets left at outside the door. It doesn't even get to go in. Nothing that the ego created. It's nothing.
Right.
And
I wanted to bring this out, just speaking of those accomplishments that we go through life thinking that we're doing something really grand, is like this person brought out their high school shot put record. If you don't know what that is taking a big ball like thing and straight from your shoulder, just throwing it as far as you can. That's a heavy object that you're having to throw. So,
and just because he threw it to I got you. Just because he might have thrown it the farthest, and everybody clapped. You gave him a piece of paper.
Or a ribbon.
Or a trophy.
Or a medal or something,
Everybody look at me. Okay, and the ego feeding. Oh, yes. Oh, I love it. Basting,
Right.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Well, guess what? That stuff, that doesn't count in the big picture. That's all ego. All that does is separate you from others. It feeds the illusion of separation. You can never be separated from everyone. However,
we're one with everyone.
ego thrives off that illusion of separation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all of these worldly things do, guys. It's all they do is feed the ego.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't mean anything on the other side. Just like your religions don't. Just saying.
Right, right. And one more thing that I'm seeing in this comment too is when his life review was over and they asked if he had any questions. And in answering, they took him to different parts of his life and replayed those things for his answers.
Yeah, think about that. So taking him back to the actual experience itself, you can, from a pure perspective, you can look into it and the answer is going to be right there within it. So,
right.
Wow. Think about that, how that works, though. Instead of just saying, no, well, here, you do this, you do that. Well, here, go back. What did you learn from it? Whatever you learned, there's your answer.
Right, yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Like we hear so much, the answers come from within. You are turning
there.
to yourself within. You don't go externally to find answers. You go within. That's where your answers are. And think about this for a minute. The church condemns this. Don't follow your heart. It's treacherous. But yet that's where all your answers lie. Everything that we're supposed to be doing, external sources have condemned. All of our answers lie within us. When we use our intuition and everything, that can bring clarity in your life. Everything has been condemned to take your own abilities away from you, to take your power away from you.
Yeah, and think about the expression within or going within simply is just a reflection to who you are.
Yes.
It's not that you are this body, because you are the body, your
mind, body, and soul.
You're a three-part, creature. You really got to understand that you're more than just that.
Right,
that
yes,
soul,
exactly.
that being, and also that's that within.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of religions teach that you have to go out through an external source to get to where you got to get.
Until you don't go within.
Yeah. So you have to be careful with that.
And that's the contradiction in all this. I mean, because all these sources are saying to go within.
Okay, very good. Any more comments?
Oh, no, not on that one.
Very good. Let's go ahead and move on. Would you like to read the next one, please?
Sure. It says, when you have a panoramic life review, you literally relive your life in 360 degrees panorama. You see everything that's ever happened. You even see how many leaves were on a tree when you were 6 years old playing in the dirt in the front yard. You literally relive it. Next, you watch your life from a second person's point of view. In this life, we're taught to be sympathetic towards others, but from the second person's point of view, you'll feel empathy, not sympathy. After that, you will literally become every person that you've ever encountered. You will feel what it feels like to be that person, and you will feel the direct results of your interaction between you and that person. You know the story of the book of judgment. Guess what? When you have your panoramic life review, you are the judge. You do the judging. If you doubt me, believe this. You are the toughest judge you will ever have.
Especially judging from a pure perspective.
Right.
Think about that. Wow. Daphne, this has a lot of stuff in it. The first thing that comes to mind, I love the 360 comment, but this just kind of hit me different today. I've always appreciated, people having the 360 vision. Mm-hmm. They said that's another common element.
Very common.
And we've heard of the actual, the life reviews or in 360, like on screens or holographic type things, and we hear that a lot, but I never put the two together. I never put two and two. I never put a person in the center of a room with a 360 vision watching an actual 360 screen.
Gotcha.
You see, it just kind of gives me just a little bit of another perspective there as well, because you do have the 360 perspective, and I have heard of the 360 life reviews, so I can see how imagine being that and literally seeing all of these experiences and experience them at the same time. But what really blows my mind, I love how this person put it, and I've never looked at it like this as well. You become the other person. I've always said, you get to feel what the other person felt.
Right.
That's
the
one
empathy,
thing.
yeah.
But what if you become that person?
Takes a whole nother ball game.
Back to that oneness, because they're one just like you were one as well.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting. What about you?
Yeah, and it is. It's very enlightening to know that you're going to get to experience another's effects that you've had on them. And when you do that, you can change how you interact with other people. When you realize, okay, I'm going to get to relive this in my life review when I transition or if I have a near-death experience. You're going to get to be everything, that oneness of everything is full-fold in the life review.
And if you're living your life the way I say, like the Masters taught, Jesus comes to mind, but all of the great Masters, if you are living in a way and walking in a way and understand your oneness, I don't want to get sidetracked with like the religious aspect of it, because a lot of religions have taken that character and created different ways of approaching that. That's not what I'm talking about. But these guys did have lessons to teach.
Yes.
And there are stories that they, in other words, do unto others. How do you want to be treated? Well, treat that person that way. Okay. What about reaping what you sow?
Right.
There's so many things that he taught us that we can learn from. And if you apply it in your life and really apply it, instead of saying, well, I'm saved, I'm good to go, I'm going to go out and do whatever I want to do anyway because somebody done died for me. No, that totally turns everything around, takes all the responsibility off of you, and you will still get out and do things because you're still identifying as a sinner instead of an enlightened soul, the way these masters taught you to be. They taught you how to become enlightened and be the best version of you, or what we call God.
That's why so many of them have said, let your light shine. Be that light among the darkness.
Yeah. Jesus himself even talks about, let your light shine. So, absolutely. So that's what these masters taught.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. There's many lessons that we can learn, when you really go to digging in and doing the research on all the different masters that are out there. And just dig in, do the research, put your boots on, and change your mind on everything in your heart. Yeah,
keep that mind open. Now, here's something I like. It kind of ties in with some of the ones we've talked about earlier. Like with this person, it recalls when they were 6 years old, playing out in the yard.
Yes.
And actually, you're literally reliving it, but actually can see and know exactly how many leaves were on the tree.
I know.
That's
that
how
oneness.
Specific detail. I mean, these guys are giving you glimpses of just how real. I mean, these experiences you're going to literally relive. Yeah. It's not like you're just, I was watching TV. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I remember that. No, reliving means you're re-experiencing, but you experience it all as a oneness.
Oneness, yeah. And that knowing that so many people talk about, I really believe that is that spark of the divine, that we are returning back to the divine energy. And that's why you have that complete knowing that many of these experiencers talk about.
Yeah, it's amazing, when you really start thinking about it.
Really
and you're seeing it from all these different perspectives, and you get to be all these different roles at the same time as well. So,
Yeah. Another thing in this comment, and we hear it so much, is, there's not an external source judging you. You are doing the judging. We're going to be the toughest judge that we'll ever have. And that's here and now as well. We're our own, you heard the expression, you're your own worst critic. Well, there you go. You're going to get to be the judge in your life review.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it ties in here, this pretty much sums up all of it. It really ties in with all of the other experiences that we share and go over here. But it says here that you will feel what it feels like to be that person. Mm-hmm. And you will feel the direct results of your interaction between you and that person, aka every person you've ever interacted with, every life you've ever interacted with. Just, what was your life like? That's why it's called a life review.
Exactly. It really reminds me of one of the reviews that we done where the man was reflecting back on his childhood, and his little friend came running around, and he was hiding behind a tree, and he whacked him in the head with a stick. He got to feel the hit on the head, the boy's thoughts, everything, even through to the ripple effect of what the parents thought and felt and everything toward that one action.
Think about that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's that oneness.
Imagine the distrust that it created in those parents, that they would have that same perspective, not just on the child that hit their son, okay, but it's going to create something in them, which we call the rippling effect, that, hey, I can't trust my son around anybody, so they're going to be more protective there.
The mother hen effect,
Yeah.
or mother bear.
Right,
Protect
and
your child.
they're not going to really trust other people. Now, who can you trust?
Right.
So you don't know what kind of effect. A kid might have just been playing, being kids. Okay, I'll grab a stick. Yeah, wow. That's kind of cruel, really, if you think about it. But kids do things that we think is cruel. I wouldn't. I couldn't do something like that. But kids do that. So he whops somebody up, his little friend. But think about that. His little friend was his friend. Okay, he's coming from his house, coming over to his buddy's house, and going to go over and see his friend. Okay, and friends are your friends, man. That's your brother from another mother, your sister from another mister.
Right.
However you want to look at it, your
Right.
friends are friends, especially when you're little like that. Man, that's what you're looking forward to. So you're going over to your friend's house, and you can't find him. Where's he at? Where's he at? He may be in the backyard. I got to go find him. Where's he at? Where's he at? And you step around a corner, all of a sudden, wham! You get smoked in the face with a bat, or a stick, or a pipe, or a pole. Well, guess what? That's going to not only do you have that physical startlement and the pain and to get hit by that and getting busted in the face with something like that, but you've got the shock. You've got the, oh my goodness, how could anybody do something like that? Or, oh goodness, what just happened? Or I thought this was my friend.
Right.
Is this what friends do? Or how can a friend do that to me? And imagine the child's heart being broken and just torn apart.
Right.
You just don't know
The full effect.
what that one little action as a 6-year-old. Now that child could have just grew up and been really psychologically, uncomfortable in a lot of situations in life and destroyed a lot of relationships because of that. Affected them in a certain kind of way. I don't know, and that's just one little 6-year-old hitting another one in the face with a stick. Imagine what all the millions of people on earth that are doing to everybody, including themselves, every day. That's damaging.
Yeah.
To the whole.
Yeah. And get to relive it all.
Yeah. So, okie dokie, moving right on along. Daphne, it looks like we've got time for probably one more. Let's go ahead and do that. And since we have a lot of different life review experiences here, we'll just split this episode into 2.
Sounds great.
Different episodes, and let's
I
go
love
ahead.
multiples.
Yeah, it sounds good. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. If you don't mind, we'll go ahead and do this one. It's kind of lengthy as well, but that's fine. Either way, and we'll just go ahead and pick up on the other part on another episode.
Sounds great. So during her life review, she relived an event when she was 5 years old and teased another girl to the point of tears. Lynn then felt exactly what the other girl was feeling. Lynn realized how the girl needed love, nurturing, and forgiveness. Lynn then felt a love for this child that was so deep and tender. It was like the love between a mother and child. She realized that by hurting another person, she was only hurting herself. It was an experience, oneness with everything. Another event she relived was similar to the previous one. As a child, she made fun of a scrawny, malnourished, asthmatic kid who eventually died from a cerebral aneurysm. The kid once wrote a love letter to her which she rejected. In her life review, she experienced his pain of being rejected. At the same time, she felt a tremendous amount of love for this boy and herself. Her life review connected her with him in a way that went beyond the physical. It was a connection that was felt at the level of the soul. She saw how the boy had a vibrant, bright light burning inside of him. She felt the strength of his spirit and vitality. It was an inconceivable moment, especially knowing how much he physically suffered when he was alive.
Oh.
Well, and I'm going to say this right off the top. This is the second one in this episode alone where people are commenting in the second and third person. It's not I did this or I did that. It's reflecting back on the story of the person because they're in that soul form. So they're getting that other perspective and using that perspective.
And you're in the first person too.
Yeah.
First,
But in telling the
second,
story,
third.
yeah, they're in different perspective.
Wow. All right. This here has some good stuff in it as well. It goes back, it kind of reminds me of the other one with the little guy hitting the one in the face with a stick, you know. This little girl was mean to another little girl, or
Teasing him.
Yeah, was teasing her, or was doing something, or it broke her heart and everything. So you felt that pain and everything. And then like the little guy here, she rejected him. He liked her, and she turned him down because she was really looking at his physical appearance, and that's a lesson for all of us as well.
Right.
So many people look at the physical, the vehicle,
Right.
instead of the person that's inside.
Right, and that's what I like about this comment. It says that connection is on the soul level, and in the rejecting of the little boy, she saw in the life review how vibrant and how this little boy's light was so
His soul,
bright.
his light, yeah.
Yeah, and how strong he is in his vitality and his spirit.
Yeah, even to endure something like that in the physical.
Right,
Think
so
about that.
That makes me think of the soul contract, how, we've kind of chosen different things to experience, and then how that soul can grow from that.
Yeah.
Even though this little boy was, an asthmatic and very thin and everything, his soul was so much brighter and so much
beautiful
more.
person. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what people need to do, is learn how to see the people, the persons. Don't be judging from the
within.
outside. So many people. Open your eyes.
Externally
Go to
judge.
your local Walmart. You go anywhere you want to go. So many are into the external.
Yes.
It's so about how much you look at, from the hairs to the things they're doing to, some people don't even look human anymore.
I know,
There's
yeah.
so much emphasis on the external, and people, they don't know how to see what's on the inside anymore. But look at the media. That's what the media pushes as well. It's all about the glam, the look, the and the wow, and the flash. None of it's real. None of it. It's all part of ego. It's what the
Exactly.
world of ego has created. Hey, look at me.
Yep.
Throw in selfies and cell phones and stuff like that. All you're doing is feeding ego. So you can't expect people to be much different. It's just what everybody's feeding off of.
Mm-hmm. And a lesson in this too is that through this life review, she got to experience the pain of everyone, but she realized that by hurting another person, she's only hurting herself, and that is that oneness, the connectedness of everything and everyone.
Yep, that's right. That's the way it works. Yep, very good, very good. Okay, I'd say, well, let's go ahead and wrap things up, Daphne. We'll pick up with this on another episode. Are there any kind of final comments you'd like to add before we shut things down?
Yeah, just really, dig into these NDE accounts and research and realize the interconnectedness of everything and everyone.
In your actions.
How your actions are going to be replayed back to you. You're going to get to feel that connectedness with everything and everyone.
Even your thoughts, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah. It's
Your thoughts, your
everything.
actions,
Yes.
everything, yeah. So, very good, very good, very good. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and wrap things up, guys. Don't forget to visit us at our website. That is NDE.world for more information on who we are, what we do, and, of course, our podcast and all the episodes and things like that.
And don't forget to smash that contact button to contact us to tell your story or share an experience with us. We love hearing from you guys and hearing your stories and experiences. We love you all and appreciate you all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. We love you guys so much. May peace be with you all. Until next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
For information about the NDE World Podcast, visit nde.world. That's nde.world.